it helps you to go far, because as safety professionals, you're always interacting with people. You call the shots with regards to safety. So it's very, very important that you have your EI on top, so that you'll be able to manage situations. So quickly, we're going to do our tests. And after the test, then we'll go straight into the lecture. So you have your pen and your biro. You have 5 assessments to take, right? 5 assessments to take. So we're going to take the first one now. So the answer is just put down only the figure. For instance, number 1, I easily recognize what emotions I am experiencing in a particular situation. So you choose either 1, 2, 3, or 4. The options are there, but make sure you read well, because the number can change. The answers are the same: very rarely, rarely, often, and very often. So you will have to choose one that corresponds to your answer, and the number might change. So please read very well. So write PA1. Under PA1, you answer the 4 questions. Under PA2, you answer the 4 questions. So let's start. So this is PA1. Write PA1 and then answer questions 1 to 4.
Please, before we go ahead, if you are with a pen and biro, please kindly respond with yes, yes, yes in the comment section. Let us know that we have people who have their pen and biro with us. If you are, sorry, pen and paper with us, please kindly type yes, 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 so that this is a practical section. It's a practical section. Let us put our body, mind, and soul into this and understand the concept. We might not only need this as individuals, but we have the opportunity to also educate people. So let us put our whole system into this training section. If you have your pen and biro, kindly type yes. You want to have at least 20 years, because we are 34 here in the group, in the section, including myself. We have 10 years already, 11 years, 12 years, including myself, that is 13 years, including her, so that is 14 years. We want to get as much years to be sure that we are all together on this course. Please, so Mrs. Nyonye, you can go ahead, ma. Over to you.
All right. Thank you very much. So I'll just give you like a minute more to finish up this, so we move to the next one. I want to believe you are done. So let's move to the next one, please. Personal assessment 2. Next slide.
Would you go to the next one, number 2, right?
Yes, please.
Oh, this.
Next slide, okay. Yes.
Please, let's make sure that we are following. This is the first slide. We are going to the next slide now.
No, I mean number 2. Yes, exactly. Yes, PA2.
Okay. I want to. Okay. Sorry, please. I'm having some difficulties here.
That's fine. It's okay.
What's happening? Let me close. Sorry, let me close and try to resend.
And share it again. That's fine.
Okay. What's happening is I want to edit. Okay, I think this is what I would do. Sorry, please.
Just share it again. I think it's a technical glitch. It happens at times when you share slides.
It's not about it. It's the slide itself. The slide itself is giving me a headache. The slide itself wants to give me a headache. I will not accept. No weapon fashioned against us today shall prosper. It's trying to be stubborn. Please just exercise patience. I will address this by God's grace. It's trying not to be because I need to enable editing. So you can just go on with maybe basic introduction.
Let me see if I can get mine. Let me see if I can get mine.
Okay, let me close our windows. Oh God. Okay, I'm almost done.
Okay, otherwise I can share mine.
Yeah, yes, I've been able to resolve it, God's willing. So now I'll be resharing again.
Okay, go ahead.
Please, thanks for your patience. We have 39 on the call already, which is a good one for a day like this. Thank you all for sacrificing your time to join us. So this is the first. I hope you can all see this.
Yes. Then take it to slideshow.
Okay, slideshow, exactly. That's what I was trying to do the other time. So are we done with this?
Please type done in the chat box if you are done with PA1.
Please, if you are done with QA1, type done. Let's be sure that we are done with that so that we'll go to the next one. We are 14 on the call now. So let's get like 10, at least 10. Done, okay. 6 done, 7 done, 8 done. Okay, this is good.
Let's move to the next one. Let's go to 2.
Okay. So for those that are not done, please try to focus on the next one now. We have 2 minutes to address this. I'm very sure, Mommy. Right?
Yes.
All right.
So this PA2, quickly. Remember to read the answers well and the questions well before you answer. To believe we are done. And we move 3, please, Waliu. Thank you. This is PA3. Answer these ones. PA3. Remember, you're writing only the figures. Only the figures. Don't write the answers, the figures, because you are going to get a score. Let's move to the next one, PA4. Okay.
Please, whenever we are done with a particular one, just type done on the chat box. Just type done. Thank you.
Somebody is saying undone for 3. Waliu, can you just go back? She came in early for the training, so I'd like to give her that concession, please. Go back to PA3. Mariam, please, could you quickly finish up with 3? You are welcome. So Mariam, are you done now? Do we move over to 4?
Yes, I'm done. Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, so let's move to 4. Let's move back to 4. Okay. 4, continue with 4 quickly. And we'll go to the last one. Okay, I want to believe we are done. So let's move to 5. This is PA5 now, the last one.
Please, once we are done, let us type done.
Oh, beautiful. They are done. So let's switch to the lecture now. Thank you very much, everyone. So what you are going to do, okay, just keep it as it is, or what you can do, add up your scores for each section. Under PA1, get the score, write it there, circle it. PA2, add it up, circle. 3, 4, 5, do the same thing for the 5 of them. Add up your scores for each sections. Don't total them, or just leave the scores as it is under each one. So you're going to have 5 scores for each of the assessments. All right. So let's move to the lecture, please, while you can close this presentation.
Continue, ma.
Yes, let him share the lecture so that we can proceed. Okay, slideshow. Thank you very much. So good evening once again. So let's hit the ground running. So I'm giving credit to Management Sciences for Health. I'm actually using their slide to make this presentation because it's one presentation I've seen that's very simplified for teaching emotional intelligence. So like I've been introduced, my name is Nonyo Mahi. I'm a medical laboratory scientist and I'm the managing consultant of Kwanu Consult Limited. Next slide. So for us to manage our relationships, next, you need to know yourself. That is where it starts from. Know yourself, your weaknesses and your strengths. As a HSE professional, you are constantly dealing with people. So that even makes it more pertinent for you to make sure that you know your strength and weakness. And that's why when I laugh, whenever I'm conducting interviews, I ask some people, what are your weaknesses? And they tell you, I don't have a weakness, or I don't think I have a weakness. So far, you're a human being on this earth, you must have strength and you must have weaknesses. So you must know what your strengths and your weaknesses are. And you need to know how your attitude affects people around you. Get feedbacks from people. Nobody is an island. That's why we are social beings. We are social beings. Nobody is an island. And I want to recommend that you do your personality to find out the kind of profile that you have. There are a lot of personality tests online that you can Google and do a personality test for yourself. As a matter of fact, I know most of you must have done that, maybe in the companies that you are working in or you are working for. You do a personality test before you do your interview, because our personalities can be changed. I don't know how many of you know that. You can't change your personality. Your personality has been formed just when you got 4 years. So whoever you are now, the character you're exhibiting now is what you formed yourself with before you turned 4 years old. So you can't change it. You can only manage it. And that's why it's important that you are careful about the kind of people that you work with. You must know the kind of people you are working with. So for you yourself, what is your personality? What's your attitude? Are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Right? What's your temperament? These are the things you should find out. And then when you know all these things, then you'll be able to have very good working relationship with people. But when you don't know yourself, it becomes a very big problem. So the first thing in emotional intelligence is, man, know thyself. Next slide. So this is the drawing we use to describe what happens in EI, how it happens. It's a vicious cycle called the battery box. My attitude affects my behavior. My behavior now comes to affect your attitude. And your attitude affects your own behavior. And then your behavior comes back to affect my attitude, and the cycle continues. So you see, everything about our relationship is about attitude and behavior. And the taproot of our attitude and behaviors is our personality. So you must know that, and always bear this in mind, that how you behave affects other people. right? So if you want your HSE team to work well, then that means, as a matter of fact, you should know everybody's personality on your team, especially for those of you that are leaders here, managers, supervisors. Because when you understand the personality of people, you can handle them differently. No two human beings are the same. No two human beings are the same. And because of that, you can't even handle people the same way. You must put your eye to the ground to understand the kind of people that they are, okay? All right, next slide. So when you want to break the active cycle, what do you do next? Just, you make sure that you're always feeling positive. When you are feeling positive as a person, you will even know people around you are happy, you're always smiling, you're exhibiting joy, everybody is happy. Next, but when the other side is the case, you are tacky, you are angry, no, go back. You are tacky, you are angry, you keep shouting on people. I know once upon a time what have happened to any of us. Maybe you even come back at home, you snap at people immediately. All your children will run away, your husband, your wife, everybody will just take time and disappear because you are angry. Or even in the workplace, just because you are angry. But you must learn how to manage all this, and that is what we are going to learn on this model. So you must learn to be positive, no matter what. You must learn to have a positive spirit. You must always learn to smile no matter what happens, so that you can have a good working relationship with the people that you're working with in the office and also at home. Next slide. So how do you do this? By being emotionally intelligent. So what is emotional intelligence, otherwise known as EI? Please learn that emotional intelligence is EI. I know some of you most of us should know that, but just in case you don't know, anytime you see a EI, what it means is emotional intelligence. Next, just click on next. So what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is your ability to know. Please take note of these words. There are 4 key words in this definition. It's the ability to know and manage one's emotions, along with an awareness and ability to manage one's relationship with others. So the first thing here is know. So you see where we started from, man, know thyself. And that's why I said you can't be emotionally intelligent if you don't know yourself, because sometimes we have blind spots. We have, just like we have blind spots in driving, you also have blind spots as a human being. So there are things you do you don't know you do, both the good ones and the bad ones. So you need to get those feedback from people, those you work with, your spouse, your children, your very good friends, the people you associate with, those you belong to the same association with. People that are very close to you, these are the people that will give you your blind spots. Most times you won't even know you have those blind spots. So you must know them. Don't brag and say, especially for those of us that are leaders, supervisors, managers, and say, I am the boss, I'm the boss. No, no way. Then it means you are not a good boss. A good boss should be able to know your blind spots. So find out who you are, know yourself very well. Take a lot of tests. Look at your temperament. And of course, I hope we know that we have 2 types of temperament. You have the major one and you have the minor one, or we say the dominant one and then the second one. Then after that is now to manage, but you can't manage what you don't know. So that is why the first thing is know it and then manage the emotions that do come. We're going to see the emotions that we do exhibit. And then you now be aware. So that means, for instance, if you're choleric, you know that you are disposed to hot temper. You are disposed to hot temper. So if you are disposed to hot temper, you're a choleric person, you will now be aware of yourself, that anything that makes you to tick, all right? And then you have to be able to manage your relationship with other people. So you have to know yourself, you have to manage your emotions, you have to be aware of your emotions, and you should be able to manage them. Sometimes we stop at 3. We know, we manage, we are aware, but we're not able to manage them. So that's what we are going to learn today during this training. So next slide. So it's been discovered that a lot of people get fired because of lack of emotional intelligence. And then unfortunately, what brings you in is your high IQ. Your high IQ brings intelligence quotient, brings you into a company, brings you to an organization. But the very little thing that will chase you out of the same company, the same firm, is your lack of emotional intelligence. And as a matter of fact, hiring managers, recruiters, they use this a lot. This is what is used as differentiators. In fact, we've had a situation where, let me just, a short story. We had a recruitment for a school and we're recruiting teachers. This guy has masters, right? So of course, in our academic field, he's the best, right? But by the time we got to the EI question, we asked him, how do you handle children in the class? He told us, very simple. That you just get skin and just fia. Everybody started laughing, the panel. And he joined us and was laughing. So we had to ask him again, what did you say? How do you handle children in your class when they misbehave? He said, very simple. You just handle them like this and do fear. Just did and that, everybody will be quiet. And of course, that was the end of the story. Can you imagine if that question didn't come up? Can you imagine if we didn't delve into emotional intelligence of the candidates? That guy would have been hired and it would have been a mess. Maybe he will injure a child in the school. I know the funny thing, on his CV, we saw that he had taught in a lot of schools. So with what he displayed, it was enough for us to know that probably, we're not sure, but that is what has been chasing him out of the schools, because he has exhibited bad emotional intelligence. And you know, parents, most of us here are parents, we don't joke with our children. You don't take your child to a school and then you hear stories about a teacher treating your child in a bad way. We don't say that to flog children is not good, but the one of fear, you know what, that's a terrific and horrible flogging, right? So these days, emotional intelligence was this, what says how far you go for promotion as well. And that's why sometimes when you do your performance appraisal in your company, you find that you're not climbing, but some other people are climbing. It could be that under the soft skills, you have an issue with managing people, you have an issue with managing your team, you have an issue with relating with others if you're not yet a manager. And then you can never be a supervisor, a manager, a team lead without having emotional intelligence. So that is why this is very important. Very, very important. No matter how good you are, if you like, pass your Osha, pass your Nebosh, pass your Bozi, all of them. I also, rest of them, you are good technically, but you are found wanting emotional intelligence, you are likely not to climb the career ladder where you are working. And even when you change and move to another place, you'll be surprised. The same thing may still be happening there. So you really have to build your emotional intelligence because you need it to keep your team together. Next slide. So how can you be effective in your establishment? Simple, very simple answer. Be emotionally intelligent. That's all. That's all you need for you to be effective. And you find out that, watch very well, those that excel a lot where you work are those that are emotionally intelligent. Very, very important. Sometimes you even see that they know less of the technicalities in the HSE field, but they go up. Why? Because they are more emotionally intelligent. And you need it because of the kind of job that we do. People want to cut corners. People don't want to keep to rules. You give them their PPEs, they don't want to use it. You give them sheets to fill, they are not filling it. A whole lot of things, right? So it's really a lot for you to get angry, but you have to learn how to manage that as well. You have to learn how to make them see and understand why they should do those things. So this next slide. So these are the kind of emotions that we show when we relate with people. And don't tell me you've not exhibited any of them. Just keep on pressing next. All of them will start falling in. We must, at one point in your time, you must have exhibited one of them. Just keep going next. Good. Surprise, happiness, fear, sadness, anger, contempt, guilt, remorse or regret, and then frustration. You can't tell me as a human being that you've never, go back please, that you've never shown any of these emotions. If you tell me you've never shown any of these emotions, then what it means is that you're not a human being. The important thing is, how are you able to manage them when they come up? Because as a human being, you are relating with people, especially people that will get you angry, people that will get you upset at home, and the rest of them, they must happen. So you must learn to keep a cap over them. That shows that you are emotionally intelligent. Next slide. So what are those skills we need before we can call ourselves that we are emotionally intelligent? If you check other slides or other materials, they have some nouns to define these 5 skills. But I like this MSH slide because they have explained those nouns. You know, when you are teaching, it's good to use very simple English so that people can understand it barely without thinking too much about them, especially if it's something important that needs to be learned. So these are the 5 skills. So you may see them as 5 other things if you Google the net, but this explains everything. The first one is knowing yourself. We've talked about that. The second one is maintaining control. The third one is reading people. And then the fourth one is perceiving accurately. And then the fifth one is communicating with flexibility. My dear professionals, if you master these 5 core skills, you have gone to the moon in the area of emotional intelligence. You can handle anybody. When I mean anybody, I don't mean 4 of them, or 5, not 4.5, 5. You must learn these 5 things for you to keep a cap over your emotional intelligence. So let's take a look at each of them and see what they mean. Next slide. So the first one is knowing yourself. I've already talked about that. You must know yourself. Find out your personality. What type of person are you? Take a lot of tests online for that, right? Find out your temperament. Find out your blind spot. All these things will help you to know yourself well. Recognize your emotions. You saw those emotions we listed: anger, frustration, regret, sadness. Know them. Know when you show them. Know what makes you to feel them. Know the reason why they happen, right? It could be maybe anytime you meet somebody, that's when it will happen. Anytime you go for a meeting, that's when it happen. You have to find out what makes you tick. Okay? Very, very important. This is the first thing in emotional intelligence. Know your emotions. Know when you are showing the different types of emotions and the reason why they are happening. Why is this skill important? When you know them, you'll be able to evaluate a situation clearly and you make more objective decisions and not just anything top of your head. All right? Because it could be because you have a particular type of personality. That is why you are feeling that emotion. Okay? For example, somebody that is choleric will react to the situation differently from somebody that is sanguine. Okay? So the same thing also goes for your team members. When your team members have different dispositions in their temperaments, their personalities, they will react to things differently. Okay, so you have to know yourself. And then for those of you that are leaders here, supervisors, team leads, you have to know your other team members. And the reason why this is important is so that you know the kind of duties you give them. There are some duties that are specific for some type of personality. That's why you see some people, no matter how intelligent they are, they can't deliver. It's a personality thing. And remember what I've told you, you can't change your personality. Whoever you are today, your character is what you learned before you turned 4 years old. And you can't change it. Highest, maybe till like 7 years, yes, something can be done. But the bulk of who you are is what you fed yourself, your parents fed you with, nature and nurture, before you turn 4 years. And that is why training children is very important. Okay? All right. So know yourself very well so that you'll be able to handle situations more objectively, evaluate situations well. Next skill. Let's go to the next one. The second one is maintaining control. This is very important. This is the one that causes fights. This is the one that causes whatever problem is happening to go south. And as a HSE professional, we handle sensitive things. Our section is very sensitive. Our duties are sensitive. So you must be very, very slow in reacting to emotions. You can be quick in reacting to safety issues, but you should be slow in reacting to emotional intelligence issues by maintaining control. When that time you want to slap, that time you want to shout, you should be able to delay or resist it. You should be able to control aggression. That is what makes you emotionally intelligent. Don't always be hostile. Try to keep a cap over what is happening. Why is this skill important? If you're able to maintain control, no matter how angry you are, no matter how perturbed you are, you will see yourself remaining calm in chaos. You see yourself remaining calm in chaos, in confusion. When every other person is shouting, you see yourself calm. I don't know, try to think. If you think as we are talking about this now, you realize that there's been a time where everybody was shouting, people were threatening to do some other thing, and you see some people very calm and quiet. And you'll be wondering, are these people not human beings, right? They are just showing that they are emotionally intelligent. Simple. And most times you find out because they are calm, a good number of times they are the ones to even find a solution to what the problem is. Okay? So as a human being, you must learn to maintain control. Even if it's a mad person driving in front, in Nigeria, you drive your own and drive for another person on the road. This is another place where you need to maintain control. Don't always be too quick to go out to slap somebody or to shout or say, why did you drive that and this and all that? Of course, you see so many stories, so many videos of people that came out to fight because their cars were bashed and they got into another accident because of that, okay? If the person had maintained control, maybe that wouldn't have happened. Even at home, you should be able to maintain control no matter what is happening. Later on, you'll find out that you'll be able to solve the situation. The moment you are quick to slap, quick to fight, quick to hit, quick to talk back at people, then you are not emotionally intelligent. And let me also say this also refers to WhatsApp group. These days, because of WhatsApp group, people forget that when we are chatting in WhatsApp group, we are actually talking, okay? That's why sometimes you see some WhatsApp groups on fire. This person will post one, the other person will post one, this one will abuse and it will continue. And remember, you can't take it off again. It's even worse when it's on a chat. If it's verbally, yes, people may forget, right? If it's not videoed. But imagine on a chat, you are exhibiting your anger. You should be able to keep calm. Keep calm and maintain control, because that word you have said, when you go back to that chat, you find out, oh, if I knew, I wouldn't have posted this thing on this chat group, but it's already there. And if you like, you say you are going to delete it. Remember, they are very fast fingers. They have already screenshotted what you posted, so you'll regret it for life. Okay, the same thing for social media posts and the rest of them. Okay, so please, very essential for us as HSE professionals, you must maintain control, because people will always get you angry. People will always get you annoyed. People always want you to shout. So don't fall into that trap. That doesn't mean you are not doing your work. You can still hold firm. You can still put your foot to the ground without shouting, without raising your voice, and without doing anything untoward. Next slide. The next one is reading others. And if you have taken a communication training, you will find out that the bulk of what we talk about is nonverbal. Our communication most of the time are nonverbal. There are nine ways we communicate, and about 6 of them are nonverbal. Nonverbal. So what does that mean? You must look at people when you are talking to them, because sometimes what they are saying is not corresponding with actually what they mean. Maybe because, for example, those of you that are leaders, because you're a leader, you're a team lead, you're a supervisor, they will tell you what you want to hear. But when you look at them, you'll find out that they are not fine. For example, you find out there's need for somebody to do overtime, right? And then you tell the person, you ask the person, I hope that's fine. I hope that's fine. We really need to close up this project so that we know that we are done with it. And the person will tell you, yes, it's fine, it's fine. But if you look well, you'll find out that the person's eye, or maybe the person is scratching the head, is already telling you that the person is not fine, because our gestures don't lie. Our reflexes don't lie. And that is why reading others is very, very important. Okay, so this is where communication becomes very important. And I want to tell you, if you've not taken a training on communication, please do a training on communication for you to understand what communication is. Sometimes we have problem on our HSE teams because we don't know how to communicate. And you have just learned now that the bulk of communication is non-verbal. And for a sensitive department as HSE, you must be able to read people, appreciate what is happening to them, feel what they are feeling. Okay, for instance, maybe the same instance of working excess hours, you should be able to reason with them and find out, oh, even yes, we need to finish this project, but is it at the expense of the health of the staff? So sometimes you need to bring it in between, and then maybe close for the day, or just ask them to do for a little hour and then come back the following day. If not, you may not get the top of what you want. And remember, if they are that fatigued and they continue working, the ultimate outcome of that project will not be there, because they will do it haphazardly. So which one do you prefer? For them to do it well, or to do it haphazardly? So please read other people. Next, please, can you just click on next? So read people. When they are telling you things, read them. You can ask somebody, how are you? You know, that's a normal thing in Nigeria. I'm fine. But the person is not fine. The person is not fine. So when you ask people simple thing, how are you? Please look at them very well when they are responding, because the natural thing to say, I'm fine, but they may not be fine. If not, how do you explain the issues of suicide and the rest of them happening, depression happening all around us? And remember, mental health and your well-being is key for you to work well. So why is this skill important? When you read people well, you appreciate people's emotion. And then you begin to reflect too on how your behaviors are perceived by other people. So it's important you read people. Look at their faces, look at their eyes, look at where they keep their hands and the rest of them. These things tell you things in addition to what they are telling you. Because if you're a boss, they may not tell you everything. They may be scared of you. They may not be forthcoming, telling you what's in their mind, but they can't lie with their gestures. They can't lie with their reflexes. So with that, you can pick up those nuances. So we go to the next skill, which is perceiving accurately. This is very important for you in your work as a HSE professional, because most times you have to do accident investigations, you have to do risk assessment and the rest of them. And it will not just be what somebody told you, because, you know, we always have our pros wherever we are working. Next slide, please. You always have a pros wherever you are working that will tell you it happened this way, it happened this way. As a HSE professional that is emotionally intelligent, you must be able to accurately assess a situation and not them say, not this person said. Of course, that is the bane of what we do. You must perceive accurately, not just that somebody reported something to you. When anybody reports anything to you, please do your own assessment and find out that that is exactly what the situation is before you react. Please click on next. Don't just assume anything, even if it's at home. Remember, emotional intelligence is not just for work, right? That's one good thing about this skill. It's both for work, at home, your church, your mosque, your association, anywhere you belong to. Emotional intelligence holds sway, okay? So perceive accurately. When you perceive accurately, what it does for you is that you have a broad perspective and you're objective. You're not subjective, okay? You're not listening to what another person is telling you. And why is this skill important? This skill is important because you are detached when you are looking at a situation. You are detached, and not because you have heard it. So, and this is very important for us, especially when we are doing accident investigation. Because sometimes maybe there's somebody that is always failing. Maybe, for example, somebody that doesn't always wear PPE, right? And in that situation, you find out that likely is because a PPE was not used. You just falsely assume that the person caused what happened. But on further investigation, if you now want to do your real assessment, you find out that it's not the person, even though the person doesn't wear PPE all the time. Maybe it will not be somebody that's used to wearing PPE all the time that actually that day did not wear his or her PPE, right? So don't have biases. That's where this also comes in. Don't have bias. Even though, yes, this is what this person always does. Always have an open room for this can happen, this cannot happen, okay? Get the real gist. Get the real facts. Find out what happened. That is what makes you emotionally intelligent. Don't judge on what people have told you. Get the facts before you do anything. Then we go to the final one, which is communicating with flexibility. You see, communication keeps coming up because you can't be a person with soft skills if you don't know how to communicate flexibly. Pay attention to body languages. I've already said that before. Okay. Identify what the issue is and not who said it, because the person that said it, you may not like the person, right? So a bias is already there. So if you don't like the person, there's always that temptation to want to paint that person black, okay? Right. So always make sure that you identify what the issue is. And then as a HSE professional, most times when there's an incident, right, you may have to either caution somebody, or you may have to penalize somebody. Somebody has to be suspended, or there's a consequence for what the person has done. Sometimes it may be something very minor that may not really need something very elaborate. Please find a way to go around it. Pass the information without being direct. Let me use the word diplomacy. It's not diplomacy, but let me say diplomacy so that you can understand what I'm talking about, okay? So there's a way you can go around it and say that thing, and then you achieve still what you want. I give you an example with a story I saw on WhatsApp about a teacher, the way he reacted when a wristwatch was stolen from the class. A pupil reported that the watch was stolen. And then the teacher didn't want to embarrass anybody in that class. And he told them that he just came out and said, I saw the person. He didn't see anybody. He came and said, I saw the person that took that watch. And I'm giving you 5 minutes to go and return that wristwatch. If not, you will not like what is going to happen. And believe you me, that watch came out. To me, I believe it's a better approach than flogging, because flogging, before you get to the person's turn for flogging, the person that took the watch, the person may have gone to hide it somewhere. We all know how schools used to be. So there's a way you can go around something and still achieve your aim without saying it hot the way it is, right? That's what we mean by communicating with flexibility. So you must learn to communicate with flexibility. Don't always be harsh. You can still be harsh without being harsh, if you understand what I mean. I know I use 2 words, right? All right, let me say you can still be firm without being harsh, okay? The important thing is passing the information, and of course, minding how you go about it. That's always key, right? Minding how you go about it is also key in communicating that. Next, please. Next. So these are the 5 skills we assessed ourselves on. We assessed ourselves on knowing yourself. PA1 was about knowing yourself. PA2 is about maintaining control. PA3 is about reading others. PA4 is about perceiving accurately, and PA5 is about communicating with flexibility. So just for you to know, we'll come back to this. Next slide. Let's wrap up before we go to the scores. So when there's a problem, because I told you HSE is a very funny department. There's always a problem, right? Don't postpone discussing it, please, or giving feedback. Sometimes we feel like postponing it will make it better. No, the important thing is how to go about it. Whenever there's a problem, don't carpet it, please. Discuss that problem, dialogue it, okay, with these skills that you have learned, right? Stay in the present and observable fact, and not what is not a fact. Because what causes problem most time is when what you have is not facts. Gather your facts before you act. Clarify your intention for being there, and then watch your tone of voice. That is usually the problem. So this is still about communication. And that's why I said you need to train yourself on communication. There's the way you raise your voice and everybody tunes off. But there's the way you use your voice, you are still firm and still passing the information. Watch how you give feedback. Watch where you give the feedback. For example, you are a team lead and you have a supervisor under you. Please don't correct the supervisor in front of the juniors. It's wrong. You don't do that. Everybody has ego. Everybody has ego. There should be a better way of doing that, right? You can call the person into your office. You can call the person into another corner, right? In fact, the person must not even be a supervisor. There are some things people will do that that if you correct outside the scenario, then it won't be a problem. Of course, there are some that you have to correct immediately. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about things that can wait. Things that that if you do them there and then, give the feedback or correct, you will humiliate the person, right? Please don't do that. Everybody has an ego. We're all human beings. We're all social beings. We have ego hung around our neck. And the moment you puncture that ego, the person will fight you back. Always have that at the back of your mind. Have that at the back of your mind. And then for ladies, please know that the men are more conscious about their egos. Yes, especially here in Africa. So have that at the back of your mind. These are nuances you should bear in mind so that when you're handling them, you know how to handle them. Okay? Men usually have more ego than the women. So when you are dealing with men, especially when you're a woman and you're a leader, always have that at the back of your mind. This is Africa. That cultural imperative will always be there. Okay? All right. And find your way around that. But please always watch how you give feedbacks and where and the tone of your voice. There are better ways to pass things than shouting. Okay? And I mean, shouting all the time doesn't make you a nice person, really. Okay? And then finally, if you've made any commitment, you must keep to that commitment. What usually causes problem in workplaces is you make a commitment and you don't keep to that. All right? Okay, so when there's a problem, in a nutshell, this is how to handle it in applying your emotional intelligence. So let's go back to the previous slide so that we can see how we fared in the test that we took. Previous slide. Thank you very much. So, thank you. So look at your sheets of papers. Look at your sheets of papers. If you scored 0 to 8 in any of the 5 skills, that means you are very poor on that scale. Very, very poor on that scale, and you need to work on it like yesterday. Okay? And the good thing about emotional intelligence is that it's a skill you can keep improving on, unlike personality. Like I told you, for your personality, you can't change your personality, right? You only manage it. But emotional intelligence, the good thing about it is that you can work on it. By the time you keep going, you can go online and learn more about emotional intelligence, take more trainings on emotional intelligence and build yourself. So if you score 0 to 8 on any of them, please, it means that there is fire on the mountain, okay? There is serious fire on the mountain. So you need to start working on any skill that you scored 0 to 8. And then if you scored 8 to 12 on any of them, it means you are trying, but there's serious gap for improvement, okay? You still need some work to do on those skills. Then if you score 12 to 16 on any of them, then you are doing great. You are doing great. And then if you scored 16, if you scored 16 on any of them, then that is star. You're a star on that particular skill. Keep it up, okay? If you scored 16. So if you didn't score 16, If you score 12 to 16, yes, you are doing great, but there's still small space for you to still add something and reach the 16. And that is why we are taking this training. We keep learning more every day. So the goal is to do what? To be best at what you do, to be best on all of them, all right? So please look at your sheets of papers and then look at them and find out which ones am I doing badly on, especially the ones you score 0 to 8. Those are the first ones you should start working on, all right? Especially most times people fail a lot on 2, maintaining control, right? So you start working on that, okay? Whichever one it is, though, but I've just said from experience, most times that is always the issue. And then, of course, if you scored 8 to 12, there's work for you to do, okay? All right, I will come back to know if there are anybody that wants to share their score with us and tell us whether truly that is who you are, because that's one thing with this test, they really tell you who you are, right? So let me go to a case study, and then I want feedback from you, right? So please take a listen very well. I'll give you a scenario, and then I'll ask you a question, and then I'll want some feedback. So we have a family, a man, the wife, and the child. And this morning they were preparing for school. The woman is a housewife, so the man drops the boy in school before going to work. So on the particular day, they were at the table. The woman was packing the lunch pack, and the boy was having breakfast with the father. And children will always be children now. He poured tea on his shirt, and the man started shouting, started ranting. What is all this? You're going to keep me late again. Before he knew what was happening, he started shouting on the wife, started shouting, I've warned you before, this one, that one, and started raising his voice, started raising the voice at the kid. The child started crying. And before he knew what was happening, the woman too joined the match and started shouting, started exchanging words with the husband. There and then they were with the boy there, right? And then after all that, the boy got his shirt changed. And then, of course, they went to school. He dropped the child, and then he proceeded to work. On his way to work, road safety stopped him on the road, and it happened to be, they asked him for his driving license, and it happened to be that he forgot it because of what happened that morning. And trust road safety, they kept him there. And he said, because he was ranting, he started shouting on them. Of course, he was still angry. And they told him, okay, Oga, park there. And then after some time, they now told him, can you go back and go and get your driving license? He went, got it, he showed them, and proceeded to the office. On getting to the office, he was fuming because he was already late with everything that had happened. The people at the reception, they greeted him. He barely answered them. The PA greeted him. He didn't even answer her, and then walked into the office and slammed the door. So the PA quickly got into the office and then got his attention and said, sir, please, before he could even say, sir, please, just no, please, I don't want to say anybody. And the PA was trying to say, oh no, that this people, he said, no, I don't want to. She was trying to explain. He said, please, I don't want to say anybody. Discharge everybody, let them go. And the PA did exactly what he demanded her to do. I'll come back to the story. I've not ended it, but I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 skills did the people in this story break? There's the man, there's the wife, there's road safety, and there's the PA. You can unmute. I guess they can unmute themselves, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, they can. Yes,
beautiful.
They can.
All right. So if you want to answer, okay, Chichiru has said, maintaining control, who? You can either use the chat box or you talk.
Know thyself.
Know thyself. Who didn't know thyself?
The man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Chichiru said, okay, thank you very much. Chichiru said the man, maintaining control. Beautiful. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. There are 5 skills here. I want you to tell me who broke what. Either you talk or you use the chat box. Who is talking?
Hello.
Mariam.
Hello,
okay,
Mariam.
go ahead. Okay.
The lady too, not being patient, the wife.
Okay, so which one did she break? We are looking at the 5 skills. Which 5 of the 5 skills did she break?
Maintaining control.
Maintaining control. Okay, thank you. All right. Iboro says maintaining control. Who? If you put who broke it. If Naya says the woman reading orders, fantastic. She should have read. It's not the man you're living with in the house. You know your husband now. Huh? You should be able to read the man. Then communicating with flexibility. Kingsley, who didn't communicate with flexibility? Who didn't communicate? By the man. No, Kingsley. Okay, Bright says maintaining control, broken by the man. But fantastic. People have said that. Okay, Michael, please, can you go ahead, please? Kingsley, please tell me who didn't communicate with flexibility. I'll come back to you. Michael, please go ahead.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, Michael.
Yes, so the man, number one, he broke maintaining control.
Okay.
The wife, she broke communicating with flexibility.
Okay.
The man also broke number 4, perceiving accurately.
Fantastic.
And also number 3, reading orders. He didn't read the road safety guys. He didn't know what they wanted and all that.
I thought you would have flipped it the other way. Well, let me keep my mouth shut. Thank you very much. Because people always fail to talk about the road safety people, but I will give it to you, Michael. Thank you for talking about them. Anytime I teach this class, people rarely talk about the road safety people, right? But I'll come back to that. So we got it right about the man and the wife. They didn't maintain control at all. And remember the battery box I told you about? It's a cycle. Once you kickstart it, it's like catalyst. The whole cycle, the reaction will complete. Okay, so that's just it. You must know yourself, your attitude and behavior. So they started exchanging words, they started shouting, so they both lost it. They know themselves, they've been living together, right? They didn't communicate flexibly, because if they had used a better tone, maybe it would have been better. And then I like the person that talked about perceiving accurately. Is he not a small child? Both of them cost it. Why not? I know when my children were small, me, I don't even want long story. Either you don't wear your shirts, you wear your singlet, whatever it is, you wear your cloth and go to school, or you get an apron. That's the best way to solve all this problem, and everybody is home and dry. So we all got it. The man and the woman, they broke almost everything here. And then talking about the secretary. Thank you, Charity Uchenna. The secretary. That's another person that people don't talk about, okay? The secretary, is it not your PA, your boss? You are the PA. What's the job of a PA? I mean, a PA is even supposed to be closer to the boss than the secretary. You're supposed to know the temperament and the disposition of your boss. He busted into the office. He didn't greet anybody. Why did you go into the office immediately? You should have waited for whatever was happening to have calmed down, right? So you are very correct, Charity. The secretary didn't perceive accurately at all. Kingsley said the lady didn't react with, like, okay, we've talked about that. Okay, Iboro, yes, maintaining control. All of them failed on the whole fight. Thank you very much, Godwin. So let me come back to road safety, Michael. I thought we were going to flip it the other way. It was actually road safety. And that's the problem with our security personnel. A lot of them are not, in fact, I doubt if they're ever trained on emotional intelligence. Because if they were trained on emotional intelligence, men looking at that man, they will know that the man is angry. The man was fuming, leaving the house. And of course, they just did what they did and told Boya, park there, right? But on the other way around, the man, of course, he had already lifted the lid over the bottle. He was fuming, and that's why he talked to them anyhow, forgetting that those are road safety people. But the point I really wanted out was the flip side of the road safety professionals. At least they should know that things happen to people before they come out from their houses. And something must have happened that made the man to forget the license. So why keep the man there? Why not tell him, okay, sir, please, can you get back, calm down with whatever is happening, and then get back your license and come back? If not, all those things that happened that day wouldn't have happened, okay? So thank you very much for your responses. Now, let me end the story to tell you why emotional intelligence is important, and we have to be very careful. The end of the story is that the people that were at the reception, part of the people that were at the reception, waiting for the man, remember they've been waiting. Remember, road safety kept him, right? So they've been there waiting. So part of the people at the reception waiting for him were part of the people, the company he has been chasing a deal with. They've been speaking on phone, exchanging emails, and they were to sign the contract that day. And that was how he lost that deal. Can you beat that? Can you just beat that? Just because of poor emotional intelligence, right? So you have to be very, very careful. You never know. Let me tell you one quickly. Let me just give you one quickly. There was somebody that was one of my trainees. She shared it with us during the training that somebody's number, the number of somebody that called him ends with 157. So the person, they were abusing each other, whatever, they were shouting on top, something happened. And then the person called again, and he started ranting, but that person didn't talk back. The following day, he now went to see a client and asked him, I didn't hear from you again. He said, I called you now, you were shouting on me and I dropped the phone. So he happened to do that immediately after that person that he was exchanging word with called. That same man called him, the client, and the number ended with 157. Can you imagine that? He didn't even lose. So you see about what I said about perceiving accurately. So we have to be very, very careful. With time, it's already 9 minutes past 6. So I want us to look at a lot of scenarios, but we're going to just take just this one that we did, and then this little one that I just gave us now. But I want to believe that we must have learned a lot, right? I don't know, maybe you can give us feedback. You can give feedback on the chat box, or if you want to speak, Wally, maybe you can continue from here. But I want to believe that you learned a lot, and then please go back and work on your skills. You have your score, you know how you have performed, and then you now know what to work on. And then please start with knowing yourself, okay? So thank you very much. Tituru, thank you. Thank you so much. How to contact me? Okay, so I think I can drop, Wally, can I drop my email? Hello, Wally, are you there? Hello. Oh, in fact, the person is LinkedIn.
Sorry, I could not unmute myself. Yes.
Oh, so sorry. Or in fact, you can go to LinkedIn. I think we're all professionals. I want to believe most of us are on LinkedIn. So you can go to LinkedIn, that's my name showing on my screen, and then send me a request and I'll follow you back immediately. And then we can take it up from there, from the message, the inbox, okay? So you can reach me on LinkedIn, please. Mariam, do you have a question? Please, go ahead.
Oh, okay, thank you for the session. It was a very
awesome
one. Okay, so so now, are there no situations whereby is better to let go than to have a discussion? Perhaps in the case of your in-laws, now, you know, when you want to start a discussion, it could have like a
degenerate to something else.
Exactly. So is it not better you let go at that point in time?
You are correct. Remember what I said, assess the situation. It's not all the time that you must talk. It is not, you are very correct. It is not all the time. If it is something that you can let go, that's part of emotional intelligence. That's what makes you matured, right? There are some things you should let go. If you know it's not going to cost anything. I mean, I gave you an instance with driving. People will always drive nonsense on the road. Are you going to be shouting on every madman that is on the road? So it's best you allow the person, if nothing serious happened, allow the person to carry his or her wahala to go. So you are very correct, please. If there are situations that is just a little thing, please allow it to go and have your peace. It's good for your mental health, okay? So thank you, Mariam. Timothy, yes, please.
Ms. Maria, thanks for your time. I want to ask a question. The question is, if you have a top manager in the office and always negative about safety, how can I manage that?
Dialogue. You can never go wrong dialoguing. Go find out. You don't even know. Do you know if there's something happening in that person's life that you don't even know about? Do you know some people tune off because they have issues at home? Some people tune off, they have issues in the associations they do belong to, and they bring it to work. Because, okay, I didn't mention this, that's part of the thing you should also learn. There's something called emotional compartmentalization. Emotional compartmentalization. We know what a compartment is. That is, keep it aside. So whatever happens at home, don't bring it to work. Whatever happens at work, don't take it home. But unfortunately, there are some people that have not learned emotional intelligence. They've not heard something like this before. So because of that, they bring things that happen at home to work. Like the story I just gave you, the man couldn't keep a cap on it. And he took what happened to home and brought it to the office, and it cost him his clients. Okay, so please go in and dialogue with the person. The person may not know it is happening. Remember, I talked about blind spots. We all have blind spots. So maybe the person is not even, that manager doesn't even know that something is wrong somewhere. And you may be the person that will reveal it to the person, and both of you can now iron it out or discuss it with the larger group if there's a larger group and get a solution. Okay, all right. So Timothy, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes,
ma'am. All right.
Yeah, ma, I have a question.
Please go ahead, Chidi.
Hello, ma, I have a question.
Go ahead,
yes,
Chidi.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yeah, actually, I'm so much enjoyed this session, but there's something that happened when I came back to Nigeria here. I was with one of the engineering consultant company in Lagos.
Okay.
And these guys, that a client bought a job. That job was remove the spy chemical and refill and pressurize the equipment.
Okay.
Now, being the HSE lead, and this area I have a little idea of it over there, then it happened that the consultant company don't have the chemical. which we call the vendor to come and do. Then on the process of the vendor coming to do it, they make a kind of a corner way. I told the vendor, this is expired, refill with new one and pressurize. I left, that was weekend. By the time I came back, the owner, being one of the influencers, which I saw when I come back to Nigeria, even on LinkedIn, asked the vendor to use that expired one and all the old one to pressurize that thing. To cut the long story short, when they send this back to the client, the company free zone, to be precise, they rejected some of those things. A resident director, I commented on this, and this is what I told you.
Oh, Chidi, we are losing
we don't
you.
Have this, and this will not be. Oh, all right. Can you hear me?
Okay, we lost you for a while. Okay, you said you told them that this was what you had told them when it eventually happened.
Okay, yeah. So as I was saying, one of the new staff I interviewed, the resident asked him to give me query based on this. And along the line, they work something like OEM. There's some specification for some of the equipment. But these things are going contrary. Yeah, going contrary. Instead of using those OEM to work, they may go for roadside. And that can, because over there, bro, where I work, these things is non-compliance and it affects most times I feel bad about it. Yeah.
Well,
in that kind of situation, what do we want to do?
Okay, this is a management issue, really, not emotional intelligence. So we just like we say in HSE, like we say in quality and HSE, safety, once it is not documented, it's not done. So stop using verbal communication when there are issues like this. It's a norm. So if you know what the right thing is supposed to be, no, send a mail.
Is documented.
No, what I'm saying, send a mail.
Sent already.
You sent a mail saying you rejected those things and you were still sent a query. Then I think this is
yes. Of course. It's one even sorry to say it. There was I thought because over there I learned a lesson over there because we faced this kind of thing over there. There was a mail, it was documented, and the person being the owner of the company, it was like, it involved emotion, man. So
okay, let me ask you, is there a HSE policy in that company? Because that's the owner now.
Yes.
So interest, is there a HSE policy?
Yes.
Well, maybe we can take this off. We can take this off the call so that we don't prolong the session. But the truth really is that maybe because it's a one-man company, there is no, I'm suspecting there is no board in the company, because if there is a board, he will not take that kind of action because it's a very sensitive situation. So we can talk about this later on. But just know that what you did is the right thing. Yes, what you did is the right thing. And maybe for others, please, make sure whatever you are doing is documented. Either it's a text message or it's an email. Please don't do WhatsApp. You can have WhatsApp history lost, right? Anything that is going to be documented has to be email and has to be text message, so that if any litigation is going to come, you are sure that there's a trace. It can be gotten from the back end where it has happened. So let's talk more about that. I think there are some other issues which may not be able to divulge. It's a serious management issue. Okay.
All right.
All right. You are welcome. All right. I can't see any other hand up, but let me look at the box. Can we get a copy of the presentation? This is a free session. Well, I would. Well, let's see.
We'll discuss that actually.
We'll discuss that. Okay. All right.
Like I used to tell.
My hand is up. My hand is up again.
Okay, I'm coming. Let me read what is on the box. I'll come back to you, Mariam. Okay, no problem. Wally will work on that. Okay, we'll work on that so that we can give them the slide, right? We can give them the slide on the lecture. We'll do that. So I'll discuss with Wally on that. Okay. I joined late due to health reasons, but I gained a lot within few minutes. Thank you, ma'am. You're welcome. Can you share the slide? Okay, I've already talked about that. Thanks for the training. Wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. So Mariam, please, can you go ahead with your question?
Okay, so lately I see things like be happy, don't care about how people think or feel about or something like that. That the most important thing is if you are satisfied with yourself. Now, from the chart you gave us, the flow chart you gave us, that the way you behave will affect the way people will also behave, and like that.
The battery box, yes.
It doesn't, yes, like that chart. I think there's a contradiction between you now saying that at least the most important thing is you are happy, you don't care how people feel about you. I want you to talk about it.
That has nothing to do with your disposition and behavior. We're talking about when you are relating with people, always bear in mind that your attitude is great. Your behavior is great, because if not, it will affect other people. But of course, you have to find out.
I'm sorry for cutting. Do you understand what I am talking about? What people say, that you don't care how people, what people think about you or say.
Oh, no. That is wrong. No, that is wrong. No, that is wrong.
Those quotes and those.
No. Maybe they are talking about maybe bad things people say about you that are not true. I think that's the light the person is coming from. But if it's about what people say about you, you must care about that. You must care, because I've already said it. We have blind spots, especially people that are very close to you, your fellow workers, your spouse, your children, your very close friends. When these people tell you things, you must take it seriously, because they are constantly with you all the time and they see what you do. What those type of quotes, when it comes is when you know you are doing the right thing. I think that's when that comes, Mariam. When you know you are doing the right thing and you are going well and people are still talking. No, of course, you don't have to pay a listen to what people are saying when it comes to that angle. I think that's the angle those quotes usually come from, and not about your type of person. Please, once anybody is telling you anything about your type of person, please, you must listen, because we don't know it all. We all have blind spots. So that's part of your assignment. Go and ask people what your blind spots are. Ask people, how do I behave? Is there anything about me you don't like? If 2-3 people tell you that thing, then there's no way they can be lying. There is absolutely no way they can be lying. Then you have to change it. Okay? All right. So thank you, everyone. I think that should be all. I can't see a hand up again. So Waliu, that's it. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you all. Thank you, wonderful people. Thank you all for having created time, created your energy in form of your presence, energy in form of your data, energy in form of your attention that you've given to this particular training. We hope that you've learned a lot. Sorry, there won't be opportunity for raising of hands again, because we have passed that section already. Because of time, some of us still want to give that opportunity for some people who still came here because they see it as a part of responsibility, and at the same time they still want to watch the World Cup. So the second half is still on, so let us give them the opportunity. As per the material, like I used to say sometimes, yes, the network was bad. You still have the recorded version available. I used to say most of our section, most of them, they are different, how would I put it, professionals who come here to deliver trainings. Most times, some of their trainings that they deliver to us, they are slight. They are intellectual properties that they actually use as a source to train their clients. And their clients pay huge amount for it. Their clients pay in millions, in hundreds of thousands for their training. So giving their slides out for free training, sometimes it's always like, I used to feel like sometimes after giving us a free training, then the person should now give us slides again. That's why sometimes I don't ask them for the slide. I just tell them, please come and deliver training. So I know most people will come up with that question. Do you want us to do it when you need this slide? And I'll tell them, if the person feels free to give us a slide, fine. If the person is not free, but we're trying to subject someone that they must. It's never a must, because like I said, it's their intellectual property. I've done my own trainings here myself that I've given slides, and I've done some also. Like I did one on psychological safety. I don't give out the slide of psychological safety because it's one of those top courses in management that is just coming up here in Nigeria. So I bought the material. Honestly, to be honest, I bought the material around $300. I bought it online. I bought the material, the slides. I bought them online, reviewed them, added to them, went online to do research, go to different, download different other materials to create a robust content, now giving those kind of material out. You understand what I mean? So it's not always an automatic ticket that we must always get slide. What is more important? What is most important is for us to get the training. Thank God we have it recorded. You can go on YouTube on each of those, when you get a particular slide, click on pause, screenshot it, have a way to compile them together, no problem. But remember that even when you do that, you are infringing the copyright of the person. And at the beginning of this training, she rightly said it, that this slide is for a particular body, and you have been given the right to do that. So giving it out to other people to use of it, to make use of it, it's somehow. So we might not get the slide. We might not get the slide. The most important thing is for us to get the message. If you want to learn more about it, go to the YouTube channel, watch it again. If you want, you have the right to watch the YouTube, to share the YouTube. But to give you the material and to make use of it, or to have it with you, I cannot guarantee them. We are very careful with whatever we share and whatever we post, because copyright, just that here in Africa, we take it lightly. It's not something serious. But in developed countries, copyright is a very huge criminal offense. So, like I said, the most important thing is for us to get the message and to continue to expand our knowledge and competency level. This year, we have so many people that have joined us, and I really wish that I could have a time to issue certificate of attendance to so many people who have joined us continuously at the end of the year. But I'm very sure that by next year, our attendance will be of value to us, because we have people from different parts of the world now joining us. So we want to not only just attend, let us have an evidence to prove that, yes, we've been attending this event, this training, Sunday trainings by Waliullah, and it has been so helpful. So it will serve as a means of evidence of our competency. We appreciate you, we love you, we value you for coming, for your attendance, and we hope that you've learned a lot, and I hope that you understand my explanation when it comes to sharing people's intellectual property. Thank you all again. Qatar is losing. I wanted to say Qatar. I think it's similar. Qatar City comes or Qatar. Qatar is losing 2-0 to Ecuador. It's a bad one. The first goal is a penalty, I think, and the second goal was much like a mistake, actually.
Wow.
Yes, a good header. Yes. So Qatar is losing. Yeah, so that group, most likely Senegal. I'm rooting for Senegal and Netherlands. I'm rooting for Senegal and Netherlands.
Ecuador is leading Qatar. Ecuador is leading Qatar.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying.
That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I said Qatar is losing. It's losing 2-0 to Ecuador. So, but not regardless, I'm rooting for Senegal and Netherlands for that particular group. Senegal must win. Senegal will destroy Ecuador.
Without money. Let's watch and see.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, good night, everyone. So sorry, we lost power here.
I'm not watching football. Someone said I'm watching football. No, I'll be here.
Good night,
good night,
thank you so much, Madam Noye.
Yeah, good night. Good night.
Thank you very much, Madam Noye.
You're all welcome. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate
it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Waliu.
All right.
I can see so many leaders here. Sorry.
Thank you.
I saw Mr.
No, you have sent a request on the
request.
You can just,
yes, please. Let's hook up on LinkedIn. So let's go and watch the match.
I have done
so
that
see you guys next time. All right, bye.
Thank you so much for all my leaders on the call. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love you guys. Bye bye.